Hello and welcome to my Flosstube here at So Me Sarah. It is Sunday the 11th of May 2025 and I'm back after a little break. I have missed you and it feels like much longer than 4 weeks ago. I feel like I've skipped lots of episodes rather than just one, but we have had a little break here just because of holiday time really, with Easter and then a second bank holiday in the intervening 3 or 4 week period. We had 2 4-day weekends here in the UK. And on both of those weekends, hubby was away. And as you know, my Flosstube recordings come to you courtesy of hubby taking Charlotte out to the park or otherwise entertaining her so that I get some space to record. With him away for those 2 4-day blocks, I knew that I would need to take a break over this period because I wouldn't be able to carve out the amount of time that recording a Flosstube deserves and necessitates. So anyway, I had that little break and I am happy to be back with you. There have been lots of things that I've spotted while I was on my break that I wanted to share with you. So there's probably a little bit of a list to get through today. So that I share those things with you. Some of the things I share you will maybe already have seen because I'm coming at them a little bit later than I would otherwise, but I will share them anyway just in case you didn't, because I wouldn't want anyone to miss out. So I first of all wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for replying to my question on the last episode, and my question concerned this piece of lace-edged linen that I had rescued from a charity shop. And I was asking you about the lace edging. So today I want to do what I should have done last time, which is show you closer up that edging. So I'm just holding on this coloured background so that you can see a little bit more closely. I think I didn't share it close enough, and so made some of you guess. It made it harder for you to guess what kind of lace edging this was. So there were various suggestions from you. Thank you so much to all of you. I managed to investigate everything everyone suggested, and I do think that it is bobbin lace. Judging from some of the characteristics of bobbin lace that you suggested, and from the tutorials that I found, this is called a spider, and it looks almost woven. So I think it's that crisscrossing of the bobbins in the making of the lace, and it's definitely been made and attached afterwards. So it's not integral, it's not a continuation of the drawn threads of the linen. It's not crochet, which I knew because I can crochet myself a little bit and can recognize crochet. But I wasn't sure what this was, and I do think now that it is bobbin lace. So thank you so much for all helping out and helping me to investigate. I did get lost in a bobbin lace rabbit hole, and I had to really claw my way out of that. At one stage, I even had bobbin lace kits favorited, but I genuinely do not need another hobby. So thank you so much as always for responding and being so helpful. So I'm going to pop this upstairs now, and I can put it on display and enjoy it and know that it's a little bit of bobbin lace. So today I've got a potential avalanche on the chair on this side, and I will probably be creating a second potential avalanche as I transfer what I'm going to show you to what I have shown you. So if everything goes blank for a moment, you'll know I've had a crisis and I've had to stop recording to pick everything up. So also from the last episode, I had a question from Keely, because in the center of the dresser here, I had this Easter piece, and she was just asking me could I share what the Easter piece is. Now I did reply on the comments, but I said I would show it a little bit closer up because this is an older piece, so I wasn't showing it this year close up. It is a caterpillar cross stitch pattern called Easter Blooms, and I stitched it as is charted except for the purple. So where I have this sort of lavender purple colour, the chart is charted in blue, and I like yellow and purple for Easter colours, so I switched that out, but everything else is the same. And then I had this wooden piece which I picked up at Hobbycraft a couple of years ago, I think maybe 2 Easters ago, or maybe just last Easter. Can't quite remember how long ago, but they may still have them. It's just sort of a wooden base piece, and I put a little fabric background in there to mount it. So, but the chart itself is called Easter Blooms and is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. So today I have some new things to share with you because I don't want you to miss out. You may have seen a couple of these mentioned on other floss tubes, just in my absence. I am a little bit later getting these to you. But the first is a duo of patterns. They're the first 2 releases of a new designer, and this is Sarah at Soie Stitchery. Now, if you know Pauline at Soie Bags, then Sarah is Pauline's daughter, and she has started up a new design company called Soie Stitchery, and she sent me her first 2 releases to have a look at, and I wanted to share them with you because they're so lovely. The first is this little sampler called Prudence Bold 1807, and I'll hold her up a little bit closer, hopefully you can see. She's lovely. Now I want to tell you that Sarah's patterns are beautifully charted. I'm going to show you a teeny tiny corner, but you can see from this corner that they're in colour and they're nice and big. So you don't have any struggles with looking at tiny chart symbols or a chart that's all been squashed onto one page just for the sake of it. So really nice design and a beautiful little sampler that you could add to your collection. I love the side borders on this. I think it's very nice. The second pattern that she sent is my favourite of the 2, and it is an original design, and it's called Her Own Thoughts. And this is a quote from Jane Austen. Her own thoughts and reflections were habitually her best companions. I love a good Jane Austen quote, and I think this is beautiful. I love the daisies up there in the top corner, and it's gorgeous. So Soie Stitchery is going to be a design house which focuses on sampler adaptations and original designs. So the first, Prudence, is a sampler adaptation, and this one is an original design. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of what Sarah produces. If you would like to purchase one or 2 or both of these and keep an eye on what Sarah is releasing next, then I will have the link for Sarah's The Soie Stitchery shop down below for you. So congratulations on your first 2 designs, Sarah. They are beautiful, and I very much hope to stitch this one someday and maybe Prudence too. Okay, next up we have the Cotton and Twine subscription box, and this is the subscription box for May. So it is available to subscribe to now, and then it will be posted on the 25th. So between now and the 25th of May, you can subscribe to Cotton and Twine cross-stitch monthly subscription boxes. They are fabulous. I love them. I think they are wonderful value. So the idea of their subscription box is that you get a pattern. This one for May is, I think they've called it Swan Lake. I definitely did see that name somewhere. Yes, it's on the chart. So, and again, a really nice big chart, an A3 size chart. So Swan Lake is the design, and you get the pattern, you get the fabric, and you get the threads all pre-sorted for you. So here inside your box you'll get this lovely little package, and always in here you've got your fabric. You can choose to have linen, as I do, or you can have an Aida. So there's a 32 count linen option and a 16 count Aida option. Beautiful colour of blue for this one. And then some gorgeous flosses, all pre-sorted for you so that you're ready to stitch. Your needle is tucked in there as well, so you're ready to go. So you have the kit, and then they also include the little finishing items. So the suggestion for finishing on this one is to finish it into, sorry, everything's wobbling, is to finish it into a little pillow. So you've got a lovely striped backing fabric and some rickrack to trim it with. So you have some lovely white rickrack to trim it with. And then of course the treats in the box are so lovely too. There's always a little gift treat and then a little sweet treat as well. The gift treat this time is a bar of hand soap, and here you go. It is a beautiful hand soap, suitable for vegans, and it smells very faintly floral. So it's not an overpowering smell, but beautiful. And then there's a sweet treat, which is a mallow and marsh bar, chocolate covered marshmallow bar. And there's always a little tea included so that you can have a cup of tea and settle down to your stitching. So as I said, this is the May subscription box. Here we go, I'll show you again the lovely design. It is available now for pre-order. You can sign up to the subscription, and it's a very flexible subscription offer. So when you subscribe, you will get the new. When you subscribe, you can take a break. If you see the pattern for next month is one that you don't want to stitch, you can actually pause your subscription. They release their patterns generally at the beginning of the month, and then you will say that you want it, or let your subscription run, or say that you don't want it. And then on the 25th, they will be mailed out. And then again, the new month, you'll see the new pattern. So there is time to say, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want that one. Or you just let your subscription run and enjoy the boxes coming to your door. There's also an offer where you get a little bit of discount if you sign up to a 3-month, a 6-month, or a 12-month subscription. And if you're a first-time purchaser of the subscription boxes from Cotton and Twine, you can get 10% off if you use the code WELCOME in your checking out process. So that is the Cotton and Twine box for May. Go and get yours while you can. So, excuse me while I make some room on the table. You got to see my silver highlights close up there. Okay, the next goodie that I have to share with you is, I'm going to pop in a picture here, is the latest release from Sam and Lauren at Flossabilities. And this is called Shack on the Shore. So Lauren and Sam designed and produced Cabin in the Woods, which I've started. Haven't moved very far with that one, but I have started it. And someone suggested to them that it would be good to have a series of these kinds of house theme patterns. So they have designed Shack on the Shore. It's a beautiful seaside shack and all the gorgeous elements of beach life that you can think of are added in there too. So it's gorgeous, well done on another fantastic design, Lauren and Sam. But I wanted to let you know, because you know that I always like to let you know how to connect, I wanted to let you know that there's going to be a sale for this piece. So if Shack on the Shore is floating your boat, go and purchase it. I will have the links to Lauren, to the Flossability shop down below. Purchase it and get your your fabric and your threads all ready for the first day of summer, which I'm assuming to be the 21st of June, because then there's going to be a new sale starting, hosted by Laura at Stitching on the Shore and Karen at the Stitching Owl, and they are going to stitch this beautiful summer piece, Shack on the Shore. So there's plenty of time for you to get yourself organised and join in the fun with that piece if that's something you would like to do. I wanted to make sure because I think that will be a lot of fun, and if you join the sale, stitch along, share your photos, comment with other people, it's a great way of connecting with others in our community. So thanks to Laura and to Karen for that sale. If I wasn't so overcommitted with everything else, I would be joining in, but sometimes you have to say no or sometimes you have to say wait. That's where we're at with this one. So, but just to let you know, so go and join in if you can. Okay, I think that's the most of all the bits and pieces that I wanted to share with you, and so we can now have a chat about my stitching. So last weekend was a bank holiday weekend and we had an extra day off work, so I was able to spend a little bit of time doing some finishing over the weekend, and I had a bit of a fiesta, a finishing fiesta. So I have 10 fully finished pieces to share with you. In part, I have been inspired by Sally at Flossy Sews and Grows. She, in a couple of episodes back, she went through what she called her box of doom, but I refuse to call it that because it's just a box of beauties. But you know that under the bed box where you have all the pieces that you've stitched and you haven't yet finished them. She went through her box with the plan of actually motivating herself to get some of them out of there and get them stitched. So she's on a bit of a finishing mission for the month of May, and I took a little bit of inspiration from her. I'm not going quite as far as Sally, but I went through my box and I thought, yeah, I've got quite a few here and I should spend a little bit of time just working on them to finish them. So I did that and I'm going to share them with you. So a lot of these, I think most of them are from our stitches that I finished last year from the 50 Fun for 50 sale. And there's maybe a couple of others that are not from that, but anyway, let me show you what I have finished. So first up, I've got a little trio of Valentine stitches that I finished. I have this little Love You pillow, simple pillow. I managed to get a fussy cut of this Lori Holt fabric with a him and a her. And look, the little tree starts out with a heart. Isn't that cute? I thought that was nice, and the colours worked with my fabric and floss colours. So that is a hands-on design freebie pattern. That's one of her Valentine freebies that Kathy Haberman does. So that is the first of the Valentine finishes. Then I had two that were from the Love Notes book by Brenda Keyes. So I have this Love You Latte and this little Be Mine. So let me show you close up. There we go. Again, a little pillow trim. I love my chenille finish and a nice little fabric on the back. That's that one. And this one is finished on a button coaster. Now I showed you pictures of the little love spoons design that I did when I went to the Airbnb retreat in Wales, and I mounted my finished little love spoons onto these wooden button coasters. But unfortunately, I couldn't make them work this way, and this is the way that I wanted them to work. So what I did with those was I actually mounted them on the front, which kind of then means you don't see the button part of the coaster, but you do have a nice circle finish. But I finally worked out how to do this properly. And so when you turn it around, you've still got the button. I put some ribbon through there to, pretend to be the thread, and I've managed to put a little hanger in. But essentially then on the back of the button coaster, I have mounted the stitch, circular mount, and a little bit of lace trim just to go around there. So this is kind of the finish more of the kind of finish I was hoping for with the coasters from the Love Spoons piece, but I didn't have the brain capacity or the time to figure that all out on time. And anyway, I managed it with this one. So that's that button coaster. I then have another button coaster, but for a Christmas design, and this is Christmas Ride. And Sally and I both stitched this last year as part of our Fun for 50. And again, a little bit of chenille trim on this one and the little red ribbons so that you can see the button coaster on the back. So I think it's nice. It was kind of a shame to cover up this nice button coaster, and it means that you have a nice front and back. And this set of coasters, if you are interested, you buy them as a set of 6. I think they were about $13.99 for all 6. And I just got them from Amazon. I think they were called Sass and Bell wooden button coasters from Amazon. So that's the Christmas Ride. So that's number 4. Then I have a couple of bee finishes. I'm trying to remember the name of this one. How doth the busy little bee. And this is a modern folk embroidery piece. This is a green fabric. I'm not sure it always shows up so well on camera. I know I took some photographs of it and it actually looks blue on the photographs. I don't know how to get it to show you the green. But this is one of my favorite ways of finishing, is to use a coordinating fabric, a flat mount, and then a coordinating fabric flat mount as well. And you'll see in the next piece that I've done that and put it into the picture frame as well. But I think it's maybe the quilter in me that loves to add a coordinating fabric. So this piece, this was the piece I was showing you the little linen piece on at the beginning. I was hanging it over so you could see. This piece will just stand on a little easel. So I've got the little easel for that. And I'm really happy with how this piece worked out. So I like that one. And then my other bee finish is Kind Words from Primrose Cottage Stitches. And this one has a lovely little fabric that I picked up in Wales when I went over to the retreat. And Sally took me to a lovely little fabric shop, which I've forgotten the name of, but they had this lovely little word print all about bees: be prayerful, be respectful, be whatever. I know you can't see very much of it, but it's a nice piece anyways to have in there. So that again is just a flat fold. I just made it so that it fits in tightly into the frame, and it's just sitting there on top of the frame. The glass is actually still in behind there on the frame. So, and it doesn't fall out, but if it was slightly loose, you just glue it in place. So, but because it's not falling out, I have left it, because maybe someday I could reuse the frame if I choose to do something different with this, but not that I'm planning on that. But anyway, so that is Kind Words. And then I have Humming Along, which is the hummingbird from the Bothy Threads kit that I stitched. And when I showed this as a finish a few videos back, I think I finished this stitching, someone said, oh, that would look really good framed, mounted in the hoop in the same way that you did stitching My Way to Happiness, this one. And they were right. The green fabric for wrapping the hoop was perfect with the hummingbird colours, and the two actually are perfect together. The colours just purely coincidentally, but serendipitously, that is both of them together. So I thought that's right. You're quite right about that. So they are both finished the same, and I'll hang them, together. This is fully finished, all except for the back. I do want to put a piece of wool felt on the back, but it is in the post on its way to me, and I haven't got it yet. So I'm just claiming it as a fully finished here for the sake of that piece of wool felt. So that, if you like this, keep a little eye on the end of the episode, because I'm going to offer the pattern out to one of you if anyone is interested. Okay. So the next finished is a framed finish, and it is Light a Single Candle from Modern Folk Embroidery. And it's just in a little pale grey frame. I worked really hard when lacing to try to get the sides even and the top and bottom even and straight. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for not stitching a single line outside border. But I managed, and I've measured it and remeasured it and measured it, and I think it really is the best I could possibly get. Not perfect, because I'm not perfect, but it's really not too bad. And I'm really happy with this frame, and it came with a mount in it, and I know it's not a perfect size, you wouldn't have custom framed it this size, but I think it works nicely, so I'm really happy with this finish. I love the fabric, and I love the platinum Roxy Floss thread as well, so it works really well. So I'm really happy to have this one framed as well. And then my next finish is actually a start and finish, but it's very small, so I was able to start it since I last saw you and fully finish it. And it is a little Mill Hill kit from the series that I love, Charmed Ornaments series, and this one is called Love. Let me see. This one is called Love Stitching. And here it is. I think the detail came out really nicely in this. I think for a little while when you're stitching something like this, you don't see the detail yourself. You're kind of too close to it, but it is a little perforated paper ornament, and the scissors charm and the beads were provided in the kit, and I think it's lovely. I finished it with a piece of the self-adhesive velvet, self-adhesive velvet, and that worked really well. So nice, easy finish. And this one is going to be added to a little gift that I'm hoping to pop in the post sometime this week. So that's how come that was a start and a finish in that short space of time. And then the very last fully finished piece, this one is number 10, is a little pillow that I had started from this pattern to my friend Pin Keep Stack. I'm stitching this one, and I changed the wording in the center. So here it says to my friend, and I recharted and changed the wording and made a couple of changes to it. So this is stitched in beautiful pink colors. I stitched it in blues. I showed you, when it was a whip, and I have changed the wording to friends count. I've added in, it's for a gift. It's a gift I wish I wasn't having to give, but it's also one that is special to me, and I wanted to make something really nice for my friend who this is for. So my initials are up here, and her initials are down here. And I also added in some tiny little numbers. I don't know if you can see them. Can you see here? There's a number 2, number 1, 6. The others are there. There's a 3 down here, which is actually the hardest to read. I think that one is 4, and that's 6. So where did 5 go? 5 is up there. 5 is up there. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to go along with the count theme. And this is for someone who is an accountant. So it's very special to me, and I hope that when it's time to gift it to her, that she will enjoy it. But I loved stitching this and trying to work out the 1/1 wording and the numbers was a little bit tricky, but I did it. The numbers are 1/1 as well. I think I could have got away with 1/2 and they still would have been discreet, but I was afraid, I didn't want them to be like really in your face, obvious. But anyway, so a couple of them in the 1/1 are kind of harder to read. They're not as distinct as I would like them, but anyway, they actually, I think with a little bit of distance, not have, you know, as in distance from when I stitched them, I think they look better than I thought they did when I had just finished it. So that is my little version of the To My Friend pin keep Friends count. And I finished it just as a little pillow with some pretty fabric on the back and some blue chenille trim. So that is 10 fully finished objects off of the list. So I still have a considerable number in my box, somewhere 30 something probably still, so I shouldn't get too smug about it, I guess. But still, 10 is pretty good, I think, for a couple of days work. So let's move on and share with you my other stitching. So I had the finished object was Friends count, was a, you know, it was fully finished, but it was also a finished stitch. And then the next one is a Tale of Stupidity. And you're going to think, I've seen that before. And you're right, you did see it before. So this is the Stitch in London booklet that we got in 2024 at the Stitch in London retreat. And this was designed for us for the retreat by Yaz of Yasmin's Made with Love. And on the last video, I shared with you my finished stitch. And I took it upstairs afterwards and I was putting things away. I was going to put away the threads and, you know, break down the kit and put everything back and tidy and put this stitch into the under the bed box, which I don't have, but I have a drawer of finished stitches. I was going to put it there till I decide what to do with it. And as I looked at the pattern booklet, I thought, oh, there's something different there. And indeed there was. So let me explain my stupidity. So when I showed you my stitch last, it looked pretty much like this, but it did not have this bottom border. It had a, let's just say, a different bottom border. So what happened was that I stitched and stitched and stitched, and I came to the bottom of the chart, and I actually made some changes to what was on the bottom of the chart because I thought it was a little bit odd. And this is where my thought process owes apologies to Yaz. Because I thought that's funny that she didn't turn the corner on the border, and the border was kind of oddly spaced. Let's just say that's what I was thinking at the time. And I thought, oh, that's different. Anyway, I think I will turn the border. So up here, so I put in the stitch to turn the border, turn the corner and make it a proper corner and whatever. But I kept stitching and I rearranged it, the spacing, and I put in a line of stitches. And I finished it and I thought it looked nice and I thought I was finished and I shared it with you. But as I looked at the chart, and I don't know why this I didn't notice, I realized that actually the bottom border was the same as the top and the sides. But that's not what I had stitched. I had just stitched a single line thing. What was I doing? So what happened, in the words of Homer, was, I don't really want to show you Yaz's chart, but you see down here at the very bottom, there's this. This is what I stitched, sort of, except I turned the corner, okay? What I didn't do was turn the page. And lo and behold, when you turn the page, the rest of the border is there. And I didn't turn the page, didn't see it, and didn't even think to turn the page. So, amazed at my own stupidity. But when I was putting everything away, I noticed it. I'm thankful that I noticed it. And I went back and spent a couple of evenings just fixing that border putting in the corner flowers, which were as you would expect if you actually had 2 ounces of sense, and finishing the bottom border too. So it's now all perfect, as it should have been if I had just followed Yaz's chart and turned the page. So there you go. Anyway, now it is a finished object. Okay. Just rearrange here and make, oops, sorry about that squeaky noise, make some room. Okay, the other finish that I have, the other finished stitch is Umbrella Mug from droolingmoosedesigns.com. I'm just reading that to make sure I got it right. This was a gift from my lovely Flosstube viewer Rebecca. She sent me the pattern for this and I have stitched it up. So I made a little change to the pattern in that I slimmed down the handle. There's quite a chunky handle on the cup on the pattern and I slimmed that down a little bit. But an umbrella and a mug, an umbrella and a teacup, these are perfect for me. Such a thoughtful pattern to gift me. I don't know if I can show you, let me see. I'm gonna have to swap boards today, so I need to remember to hold the board over. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's not really obvious, but let's see what we can do with up close. So on the umbrella part of the mug, there are yellow diamonds and blue diamonds, and then in between there is some yellow or golden back stitch in a slightly deeper color of yellow gold, and then in the center of that I have put beads because I just thought it would look better with the beads, just because of my colorways. I don't think that it's showing up as well on this kind of flax background linen that I chose. I think perhaps I would have been better to choose a lighter linen, like a white, that the back stitch would show up on. So sorry, I realised that my face has fallen off the bottom of the screen. Sorry, so I think the back stitch doesn't show up as well as I would like it to. But when it was finished, I thought it would look nice actually with little beads, little gold beads in the center of where the back stitch, the sort of black work is really. It's more than back stitch, it's proper black work. But it's lovely. It was very fun to stitch. I did outline it a little bit just to make it more obvious where the edge of the cup was originally. It wasn't outlined, but I did think it needed it when it was finished. It's so cute. So I think I'll make this one into a little pillow or stand up or something in due course. But I really enjoyed it and thank you so much. So this was my daily thread stitch for the end of April and beginning of May as well. No, maybe just the end of April. For maybe another week after I last saw you, and I worked at it to get it finished. So it's very sweet and I enjoyed that. So thank you again, Rebecca, for that lovely little gift. So with that daily thread stitch finished, I needed a new daily thread and I chose this one, which is Gathering Honey. I had started this sometime in last year. It was an unexpected start. I don't think I actually included it in my 50 starts because it was later on in the year and kind of unexpected. So I just started it anyway. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to try to progress this, pick this one up and progress it if I made it the daily thread stitch. So that is taking one length of thread every day that I stitch. This will be my warm-up stitch, as it were. Stitch in that one length of thread and then I move on to whatever else is planned for the day. I'm stitching this on a 40 count Highbury Gold, which is a beautiful, beautiful fabric by Swan Bay Fabrics. It's like an ivory background with gold mottling on it and it's absolutely stunning and perfect for this piece. which I'm stitching in Classic Colourworks Queen Bee. This is going to be a feature of today's whips, and needle pinned in the top. I don't normally leave needles in my work, and if I do, I will pin them either in the selvage or right at the top where, if, you know, please don't let anything go wrong with them and don't let them rust. But if anything were to happen, it's well out of the way of the rest of the stitching, and there's plenty of border space and everything. So, but I noticed when I was preparing my pieces that I've got quite a few of these today. And the reason for that is, and the reason why, because I don't normally do it, but the reason why is I've too many whips. I've run out of needle minders. And yeah, I've been parking them up there. I think it's also because I'm using quite different needles on different projects. So it's, you know, I do have a little needle case beside on my stitching chair. But it's just I'm using very particular needles for particular pieces, so there's nothing special about them. I don't want to use a 26 when I'm doing this 40 count, and I like this needle for this piece. And there we go again. Wouldn't be me if it didn't fall off. Anyway, that is my progress on gathering honey. I love the stitch. There's not too much more to add. The borders go up and across. There are 3 little doodads here. There's a little star to go in here, and the bee up in the corner. So not too much. I would like to think that this one might be finished in May with the daily thread. So we'll see. But enjoyed bringing that one back out again and working on it. And then another one that I brought out for a few nights is Light by Barbara Anna. Again, one of last year's Fun for 50 starts. And this one was a start by lots of folks. Sally and I both started it, and lots of you joined us with this beautiful Barbara Anna freebie. It is a freebie available on Barbara Anna's Ko-Fi shop. The easiest way to find her Ko-Fi shop is, well, you can go to Ko-Fi and you can search for Barbara Anna Designs. Or if you are following her Barbara Anna Designs on Instagram, there's a link in her link tree on her profile that'll take you there. So I finished the fox. I did her collar and her head. I filled in her arms and her hands. I stitched the lantern. All those little light rays on the lantern, for some reason I found those difficult. I don't know why. I think it was the counting. And I started on this little row of houses that is down below. So here's the pattern. You can see those little houses there. And then you can see I've still got quite a lot to do. I've still got that arbor to do. But I love her, she's beautiful, and I'm enjoying stitching on her. Again, the needle is in the top. And I think I need to rescue some of my needle minders from other other projects that I'm not working on. That's really what I should do. Anyway, because I don't need more needle minders, I just need to use the ones that I've got, and I need to find them. So anyway, this is Barbara Anna's Light. And I enjoyed that little bit of progress. She is another one I would love to see finished this year. But I need to start, I need to find time to pick her up. And basically over the last number of weeks, I've been thinking about my projects, and I think I've just come to the conclusion that with so many whips, that spreads things too thin. So you don't see the amount of progress on any one thing that you might like to see. Anyway. That's Barbara Anna Light. Next is the Historical Sampler Company's Spring Stitch Along, which is called The Secret Garden. And this is now on part 3. Part 4 is due tomorrow, actually. but it is a beautiful design, and I strongly recommend that if you like what you're about to see, that you go and purchase the stitch along. You can still purchase kits and the PDF of the design on their website. Again, I will make sure that's linked down below. So we've had parts 1, 2 and 3, and part 3 is this side here with the little squirrel on it. So we worked, center was part 1, then here was part 2, and then here's part 3. So now we've got some pink flowers, we've got the mirror of these blue kind of berries, mirroring beads. These are mirrored as well. The birdhouse has a slightly different design, and we've got a little squirrel. I love this. I think it's so beautiful. And I'm thinking that when it's finished, if I can keep up with it, when it's finished, I would like to make it into a cushion cover for the chair that's upstairs. I think the colours are just nice and springy and happy, and I love that. So that is the Secret Garden, sorry, the name has just left me. That is the Secret Garden stitch along from Historical Sampler Company. Beautiful stitch. I've had a little bit of progress on the piece band sampler from Heartstring Samplery. Here is the pattern. There we go. I'm stitching this on a 36 count long worn blush. It's a very, very pale pink fabric from Swan Bay Fabrics, and I've done a few of the rows. So since you last saw it, I've started this band here, and then I got fed up with that band and I started the lettering down here. So this band is beautiful, but it's a humdinger to stitch. There's a lot of stitching in it, in each of those little motifs, or quite big motifs. There's quite a lot of stitching, and finding the stitch path and finding a groove I found quite difficult. But anyway, so I thought I would just break up that one evening give my brain a rest really from the counting, and move into the letters, which were a little bit easier to count. So that is my progress on the piece band sampler. The thread that I'm using is Classic Colourworks Sea Shelly, and I really like that one. It's a lovely variegated pink. I got a little bit, just a little bit of progress on A Saviour's Praise. And if you were here at the beginning of the year, you know that my grand plans were that A Saviour's Praise would become my Sunday stitch. And I'm sorry to say it hasn't really worked out that way, but I don't know why. I'm just busy, that's all, that's why. Just busy, and other things come along, and maybe I'm left with an hour and a half to stitch, and this isn't one I want to face at 9:30 on a Sunday night. So anyway, I love this stitch so much, and I did manage to pick it up for 2 evenings. And let me show you where I got to. I'll hold on to it because it's folded on here in the corner. So I finished all of the initials around the basket. So I was stitching these in honor of my friends, of women of faith in my life, women whose faith has touched mine and who have supported me in my faith greatly. So I've managed to get all 7 of those in, which I'm really pleased about. I did take out, I think, a B. Yes, there was a B up here. Yeah, there was a B, it's supposed to be a B up here, and I took that out so I could fit in another 1 set of initials. And then I worked a little bit more to fill in the handle of the basket and start in here on the bottom and the stripes on the basket. So I've changed the colours a I forget that if it's multiple folds of fabric, it doesn't cling to the board. And I let go of it. Okay, so I shall hold tight. I have changed some of the colours as we go along. I changed a couple of reds in here. I changed some of these because in the original they're quite ghosty, and I changed them. And I've changed these green stripes down here. You can see on the original pattern they're very pale. But Laurie Holt, when she did her version, changed things up a bit. So I printed a photo of her Instagram post, and I'm trying to make similar changes. And I know she posted some of her color changes, the DMC threads. She posted those as well. She didn't say where she put the things particularly, but I'm trying to make a reasonably educated guess on some of the parts that I want to change similarly. I'm not doing terribly well with the greens, I have to say, but and they kind of look a little bit odd to me, but you can't really tell in the light today. It's funny. But I'm hoping, I'm hoping that I'll get it sort of more of the look of Laurie's in some of those areas. So that is the Saviour's Praise. I'm trying not, I would have loved this year to make really big progress on it, which is why I wanted to put it in as my Sunday stitch. But every other Sunday when I record the videos, these videos, I pretty much spend most of the day recording, editing, uploading, in between making dinner and seeing my dad and whatever else is going on of a regular Sunday. So there ends up not being very much stitching time on a Flosstube recording day. So that sort of takes up half of those Sundays that I had thought I would stitch on. And then on the other Sundays, just other things. Life just comes along, and you know, you end up, or I've ended up behind on stitch alongs, things that I need, you know, to keep up with or share, things that I'm doing with other people that I want to continue being part of. And this one's just, I'm stitching this for me on my own type of thing, and it just gets to wait, but it gets to wait and to wait and to wait. And that is the pattern with a lot of my stitching, and it's one of the frustrations I've had in the last month or so about some of where I see lack of progress. But of course I'm still stitching a lot pretty much every day. I'm stitching quite a bit every day. So it's not that there's lack of stitching, just lack of progress where I felt that there should be. So I'm retraining my brain on that a little bit, to not be disappointed about that, and just to accept that it's only because I want to do other things, and I'm enjoying, you know, keeping up with sales with people, starting things with people, doing the things that I love and enjoy. So it doesn't really matter about the rest of it. And that is also why I'll have to say that you haven't seen any progress on Woman in a Field of Flowers, the full coverage piece. She gets bumped every Friday. I'm supposed to sit with her for 3 hours, and it feels like every Friday there's something else I need to do, either a chore or a something, or I am behind with this stitch and I really need to get to that point because I'm doing this one, you know, there's more of a schedule to something else. So in all honesty, Woman with a Field of Flowers may never get finished. She's too big for me, I think. I don't want to be defeatist. I hate being defeatist. I have a feeling she might be too big, but I'm not going to give up on her just yet. I just know I'm not going to get to her either. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. Anyway, I got a bit diverted there. That was The Saviour's Praise, which is one of my favourite ever sampler pieces. Okay, next is an older piece. It's so old that my paper printout of the pattern is so wrinkly. This is Alice in Wonderland. It's an oil forest design. It was a freebie, I think it still is. And I started this along with my friend Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trails. And we were stitching this, I think we're now into our third year, possibly, of this. But anyway, neither of us have finished it, so that's okay. I don't feel too bad. This one not only has a needle in it, but also a thread. What happened was last week I was stitching on her one night, and then I got the call to go up, "Mommy, Mommy," and I had to go up and sort Charlotte out, and I had to kind of throw everything very quickly into the bag. So I don't normally leave mid-stitch, but I have done on this one. See, here. So I have been working at the bottom of this chart down here in the caterpillar and the mushroom, and this bush, these little flowers, there's another bush to go then here on this side. And then I've got this side to do. There's still there's a lot of stitching in this chart, really a lot. But I do enjoy it. I love stitching on this linen. This is Zweigart Ada linen. Zweigart Ada linen. Zweigart Aqua linen. The colour is aqua, and I love it. I can't find it so many places anymore, so if anyone knows where I can get this, Zweigart Aqua linen. This one is a 36 count, and I absolutely adore it. I changed the flosses. I don't use the flosses that they recommended. I changed them all to sulkies, and I love them too. So they're working out really nicely on this. I managed to get good colour conversions. I think they're good colour conversions. They're not perfect, but I like them. And I really enjoy stitching with the sulky. So I've been doing a lot of 40 count stitching and 36 count stitching the last year or so, and going back to this on 32 is lovely. I do like the one strand, so I've gotten used to one strand, although I do like two strands for the loop start, but I've gotten used to stitching with one strand, and on the 32 count the sulky is lovely for the one strand stitching. Anyways, that is Alice in Wonderland. She is another piece I would love to see finished this year because she's been hanging around for quite some time, and she is lovely. So we will see. We will see how we get on with that. I'm looking at the pattern down here on the table, and I can just see there's still a lot of stitching in there. A lot of very county stitching, if you know what I mean. You know, these little bushes and their leaves and their flowers and things. And there's a whole flowery kind of border across the bottom to do as well. So anyway, I enjoy her, and I would like to keep her kind of ticking over, but we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of patterns to fit into a month. So that is Alice in Wonderland. And then the next one is fun. The next one is The Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. And I have not started the Bee Queen, but I picked up the Bee Queen in response to Andrew the Runner Stitcher's latest challenge. So I hope that you've already heard about this, but just in case you haven't, Andrew the Runner Stitcher, he is preparing for a marathon at the end of August, and he just started his serious training for that marathon, his training program, last week. And he decided to invite his viewers along to train with him. Now, am I going to run a marathon? Am I going to train for a marathon? No. But I'm going to support Andrew by taking up his marathon challenge. And he's calling that Whip into Shape. So you take your whip, you choose a whip, focus whip, and for every mile that Andrew runs on his training days, you stitch 10 stitches. If you don't want to count stitches, you can stitch for the length of time that Andrew has run for his training day. And he has a spreadsheet, and he shares this information with us. So for example, he shared on the first day he ran 3 miles and it took him this length of time. On the second day he ran 6 miles and it took him this length of time. And he has a groovy spreadsheet and a calculator at the side which shows the total stitches and the total time. And Sorry for the beeping. They're sending me pictures from the park. So he has all of this calculated. All you have to do is find the link, which is in the show notes of his episodes, and you can follow along with his training, and you can decide whether you want to stitch for the duration that he's running or by the number of stitches. So he's doing 3 miles, we do 30 stitches. He's doing 10 miles, we do 100 stitches. If you want to keep up with that daily, that's up to you. If you want to do it all in a chunk at the end of the week, that's up to you. But you basically share a photograph of your whip as you're starting. So this is the point it's at now. Here's my starting place. I'm going to join you in the training, and I'll post regular updates then throughout the training period. So it is almost, well, yeah, 4 months of a training period for Andrew as he prepares for his marathon. But it's a 4-month opportunity for us to focus on one of our whips. So when I was watching him float this idea, and I think it was episode 44 that he floated the idea, I thought, that's a great idea. I could do one of my big modern folk pieces. I could do Baldequin Birdies, or I could do Fancy and ABC, because I haven't done much with that since I started it in the 50 for 50. And I thought, that's a really good idea. So I kept watching, and I kept watching Andrew's episode 44, and then he called me out. He said he showed his progress on the Bee Queen, and he said, what about your progress, Sarah? Basically was what he said. And he was right. He was right. I haven't had as much progress on the Bee Queen as I wanted, as I should have, blah, 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 blah. So I thought, okay. Now that he's guilted me into it, I guess if I'm going to do the marathon piece, that I really should do the Bee Queen. And this is the Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. I started it in my Fun for 50 sale last year, and Andrew started along with me to keep me company and support. So it's only fair that I return the support to my fellow stitcher, and I will work on the Bee Queen for Andrew's marathon training challenge for Whip into Shape. So this is my plan. I'm absolutely thrilled. I love these challenges. I don't know why. It's part of sharing and belonging and motivation for me. Anyway, so this week, as Andrew has been ramping up into his training program, I have stitched here on this side of her. She has now got the second half of her bodice, her arm, her sleeve, and her hand. I love these sleeves. I love them. I always wanted my wedding dress to have sleeves like this, but they're massively impractical. Anyway, my wedding dress had lovely sleeves, just not these kind that you can trail through your turkey dinner. Anyways, so I have made lovely progress this week as Andrew has started his marathon training. So that is the Whip into Shape sal that he's doing. You are welcome to join. It is not too late to join. You just go along. If you go to his episode 45, he explains everything, and in his latest episodes in 45 and 46, he has the link to his Google spreadsheet where you can catch up. You can keep an eye on how many miles he's running every day. So tonight, this will be my stitch. I will go at the minute. I've been keeping up with it every day. I probably won't always. Some weeks I'll do it at the end of the week. But tonight I will check how many miles he has run today, and I'll put in some more of those stitches, and it will be a way for me to get really good progress over the next few months on this. I think I might also make her my daily thread stitch. So if I'm following Andrew every day with the marathon challenge, then it kind of makes sense that this would be my daily thread stitch. Once the glorious honey, gathering honey, once the gathering honey is finished, I'll maybe make her the daily thread too, so that I make sure she gets done. So thanks for the guilt trip, Andrew. And really good luck with your marathon training. I am really happy to be supporting you and returning the support favour across the miles. So take care, and don't do yourself any injuries on these runs. Okay, what's next? Let's see. Oh yeah, next is another stitch along, and this is the One Stitch at a Time by La-Di-Da. And this is the stitch along that we are doing with Across the Pond Stitch and Chat. Across the Pond Stitch and Chat is a Facebook group. You are very welcome to join it. The details will be below if you would like to join. It's a really growing group. It's a no pressure group. You just share what you're stitching, when you're stitching. There's not a, there's not a heap that you have to keep up with or anything, but it's just a nice friendly group. We do have this stitch along happening this year. We started in January. We're going to finish by December so that we can maybe do another one next year. And we have a lot of flexibility in our stitch along. So I am hosting the stitch along for the group, and I broke it down into 10 monthly parts. So if you fancied having a go at this, you can certainly join the group, and you'll find the details up in the files section of the Facebook page. There are 2 documents. One is the SAL guideline, and the other then is an assignments document. So it shows you what the assignments are in 10 parts. You can follow those in any order that you like. We started basically at the top, and we have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then 8, 9 and 10 are along the bottom. If you're a centre starter, you could start with part 5. You could start anywhere you want to with any part. It was just a breakup to schedule it, to make it bite size for people going through the year. But a lot of people didn't do it by the schedule at all, and that's perfectly okay. Some folks had finished by the end of January. There have been a lot of finishes recently, because it's not a huge chart, but there have been a lot of finishes recently. The most stunning finish that I have seen is one that was this bottom row of flowers was not stitched, and the top part was made into a drum by Ruth, by Ruth's sisters. Ruth did the stitching and her sister finished it into the most perfect drum finish, and that was beautiful. But there have been many beautiful versions of it framed with lots of different frame types. That's been fun to see as well, that it can, it can look so good in lots of different ways, is what I'm trying to say. So this is One Stitch at a Time from La-Di-Da. We are in May. This is part 5, and part 5 is the house, which is a humdinger. And there you go. So I liked the house. I'm not a big house stitcher, but I appreciate them when they're done. Put it like that. But this was a nice house to stitch as well. The colour of the house, some folks have changed the colour of the house and made it slightly more blue. This is graphite, and on the pattern it does look like it comes out blue. I'm guessing it depends on your dye lot of the thread. So this is mine, it looks a lot grayer, but there's more pink to come over here to lift it a little bit, and I'm only saying that because I feel that mine is a wee bit too grey, but there's more to come, and I do love it. And it's been so nice to be part of this with the group, with the Stitch Along, with the Across the Pond Stitch Along group. So what I did want to say is that the Across the Pond Stitch and Chat group is something that you can join on Facebook. We do have monthly Zoom meetings. Those are limited just for practicality, so they're limited to 50 people. And it's a free Zoom, but you do have to buy a ticket. In other words, you have to go through like a checkout page to buy your ticket, but you don't actually enter any payment information or make any payment transaction. You just have to book a ticket basically to secure your slot. And I sometimes wonder if folks are a little bit nervous that if they're not on the Zoom, they're missing out on something on the SAL. And the answer to that is no, you're not. So as the SAL host, I will make sure that everything that is to do with the SAL goes on the Facebook page. We are running the SAL through the Facebook page more than through the Zoom. Yes, on the Zoom sometimes we have folks who share their progress, and they say, this is, I've done this much, or I've started it a different way or whatever, but it's not the SAL is not the main focus of the Zoom. of the Zoom call. So you're not missing out. Don't feel that if you want to do the sale, you have to be part of the Zoom, and that by not being part of the Zoom, you're missing something. So I had a couple of folks mention or suggest to me that they were maybe worried about that. So please don't worry, you won't miss anything. I will make sure everything that is relevant to the sale is on the Facebook page, because that was the point, was to make it our Facebook page inclusive and gather everybody together through the sale. So I think it's still possible at this stage of the year to start along with us, and I wouldn't worry if you're not finished by December, but I think it is possible because it isn't huge. And I did split it into 10 monthly parts, not 12. So there's, if you think of it that way, you're only 3 months behind. So certainly if you feel like joining us, please do, don't be put off. Just come along and join us and share your stitching on the group. So, okay, that was kind of a lot of chatter about that one. Next is a new start. So that's all the whips that I have. I've got a couple of new starts, and I know I have no business doing new starts, I know. But you know me, and I'm going to do the new starts probably. So this is the Cotton and Twine April box. It is the little month of June stitch. It's bees, so obviously I love it. I also love the colours in this. I love the little lavender colours they've put with the bees. And I will probably not stitch the word June. I will probably change the word either to some motifs and bring them down and rearrange them, or change it to the word buzz. I haven't decided yet, and I'll decide later on. I only have a small start on this, but I did like it, and I love my bee stitching, so I started with the hive, and that's where the center start is. So, and I think with a kit, I generally tend not to center start, but with a kit I do center start, because I'm never quite sure how much linen they provided, how much of a border that you'll have. There's always plenty, but you don't know if you've got a 2-inch border or 1.5-inch border or whatever it is you've got. So I always recommend with a kit, unless you're going to actually physically count everything yourself, which I have no intention of doing, to center start. So a nice little center start on that Cotton and Twine subscription box. There may be, although this is a past subscription box, there may be some left. On the Cotton and Twine website, they have a past boxes page, and if they have any leftover boxes, then that's where you'll find them. So sometimes, quite often, they have a few leftover boxes, and you can find them. And yeah, that's something you could also start. And then my very last start is another no business start. Let's face it, I have no business starting anything. But this is a kit from Luca S, and I want to stitch this for my Charlotte. I know you haven't seen her for a wee while. She's doing well. She's a live wire as always, and yeah, she's doing well. But I want to stitch this for her, and I would like to get it stitched for her birthday. Her birthday's in July, but we'll see. I don't know if I will or not. I thought it would be nice to have a little birthday pillow on the display back here, which you can see is still at Easter. But anyway, I don't know if I will or not. I got this kit for £3 something from the Hobby Jobby website. It's a hobbyjobby.co.uk website, and I suspect that Hobby Jobby maybe are the main Luca S. If they're not Luca S themselves, they're the main Luca S representative in the UK. I might not be phrasing that quite correctly, but they have a massive selection of Luca S. And Luca S is a design company in Moldova. Beautiful kits, and really, really good value. Big, full coverage florals, all kinds, but these little ones, pardon me, this was on sale for £3.84 or something like that, and I saw it and I just thought, oh, that's cute. So I got this along with a bigger kit, but that's another story. So this was the fault of the discussion in Wales. I'm gonna just tell you now that it's not my fault. When we went to Wales for the Love Spoon Stitchers retreat, little retreat, 6 of us. Marie from Stitches and Diamonds was there, and you know, Marie of Across the Pond and Marie of Stitch in London and all of those Maries, and Swan Bay Fabrics, all of those Maries. Marie was there, and she was working on a gorgeous, gorgeous floral kit from Luca S. And the girls were talking, and somebody mentioned Hobby Jobby, and so, you know, as I'm traveling home, I was online having a look, and yeah, so that's what happened. I bought a floral kit, which I won't start probably for another 15 years, and it was a bit more expensive, maybe £30 or something. And then they had a great sale section, and I picked up this little one here. So if you like kits, then Luca S is a really nice company. The chart is good. The supplies are good. It's Zweigart fabric. I suppose I should show you what I've done, and then you can see it's Zweigart. You see the Zweigart Ada, and the threads are beautiful, and they come pre-sorted for you. So you can actually see this quite well. I have been stitching it late at night and have not been able to see it quite well, and it's been a killer of a count. All this white and silver and pale grey thread in her little tulle skirt, but I've got her feet in. She just needs some shoes, and I've got her skirt in, and I don't know what possessed me to start with the skirt. But I did. I'm not convinced that the counting is 100%, but we're gonna fudge it and we're gonna make it work. There's a lot of backstitch in this kit, but I'm not afraid of backstitch, and it really will make it in the end. So that's another distraction, another start and another distraction from all the stitching I should be doing. There you go, that's all of my stitching. It has been 4 weeks, so there's been quite a bit to be able to share with you. Lots of little bits rather than any one massive amount of progress. I am proud of my 10 starts though, so that was really something that, not 10 starts, sorry, my 10 fully finishes, that's what I meant to say. I'm really proud of those. It's nice to get them out of the pile and into a usable format, so now I can go and pop them around the house, put them on the walls and prop them up and gift them as appropriate. So the Luca S one, sorry I didn't say, is called Girl with a Kitten and a Cake, so it can be quite tricky. I'm just letting you know in case anyone is interested in it. Girl with a Kitten and a Cake. Should have said that, sorry. So the other thing that I have tried to do all year is make room for some quilting. I used to take Friday morning and do some quilting, and then I ended up in a program of behavioral psychology for Charlotte actually, and those appointments all came on a Friday morning, and then there was another series of things, and then anyway, so Friday mornings disappeared for quite some time, and I'm trying to kind of pull back a little bit on the Friday morning thing if I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain it, but we'll try. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to do, and the reason is on a Friday morning, if I can get that space of time and I don't have to clear the table to make meals every 2 hours, then I can pull out some quilting. So I did do that this week. I made time, and I didn't actually need the sewing machine really for this, because this is the preparation of an applique quilt. Now this beautiful quilt called Home in the Middle. Look at that, that's amazing. It was gifted to me by Nancy and Stacey, who are my wonderful, wonderful supporters and friends. They were viewers here on the channel, and they're just lovely, and we have been journeying for a while with emails and life things, and I love to hear from them. I love it. They're so kind, and they were so kind to me to send this full kit for me to make this for Charlotte. And I've wanted to for such a long time and just haven't gotten around to it. Now this came with everything. This is a kit from Shabby Fabrics, which is in the US. And I'm sure if any of you are quilters, you will have heard of them. I hadn't, but this applique kit is like nothing I've ever seen before, because we don't tend to have this kind of prepared kit here. So this has come with everything pre-cut, and in the most gorgeous Lori Holt fabrics. Everything's here, so I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see here. You see these leaves have been pre-cut, they've fallen out of it. Everything is pre-cut. It's wonderful. It's also pre-fused with the fusible, so it's easy peasy. And I really had a lot of fun on Friday morning working on 5 of the blocks. Now I didn't do any sewing yet, so this is just me having set up the fusible really onto the blocks. But let me share with you. I know not all of you are quilters, so I should have said you could skip ahead for 5 minutes if you're not interested in seeing these, but I'm just kind of throwing it in as part of the work that I've done in the last few weeks, but actually just on Friday morning. So yeah, every piece of this was already done. All I had to do was make sure it was positioned properly and then press it on to fuse it. So I will go back when I've finished all of the blocks, all the fusing, I will go back and I will stitch everything in place, applique stitch it in place, probably just with a running stitch. That's my skill level, but it will be beautiful. It is already so beautiful. The fabrics are amazing. And of course, this is my favorite block. This and the pumpkin, my absolute favorite blocks. So that is the first block, the bee skep. And then the second block is a tree. This is a nice simple block. I mean simple in terms of colour and whatever, and a lovely little heart on the tree. So we've got that one. And then this is my other favourite, the pumpkin. There's a little bird on top of the pumpkin there. Isn't that lovely? Lori Holt does some smashing fabric, she really does. Those oranges are gorgeous. The next one I've told Charlotte is Charlotte. There's a boy block, there's a girl block and a boy block. A girl and a boy, and I've told her it's Charlotte and Andrew. My son, Andrew. There's Charlotte. I love her clumpy shoes. And then the last one that I did is the house in the middle. And look, isn't it lovely? So that was fun. It was fun to be able to reclaim that time again, to bring the sewing supplies out. And it was, you know, I've had this for quite a while. Stacey and Nancy sent this to me too long ago really, and I should have done something with it before now, but I am getting to it. I know I've got other quilt projects that I should also been working on, but you know, same old story, same old story. So Stacey and Nancy, thank you so much. It was so much fun to put those together. I'm hoping that over the next few Fridays I'll be able to get the other blocks prepared, and then the kit even came with all of the thread colors and everything that I'll need to make it. There's binding and sashing, and there are border pieces, and there's backing. There's everything that I will need to make this quilt, and it's such a generous gift, but it's so beautiful. It is really beautiful, and I am loving it. And yeah, I'm really, as I said, I'm really hoping to be able to keep finding time for it really. But yeah, so that's that. So in my plans, I've got all this to keep going with. So those are a lot. As I said, I have spent a lot of time thinking about how on earth do I do everything, and I found 2 answers to that. neither of which work. The first answer is to retire now. That's how I could find time to do everything. But that's not going to happen. The second, because I'm only 50, the second answer is to stop starting things and stop joining things. And that's not going to happen either. So I think I'm just going to have to live with here I am. I am here. I have all these projects. I have more whips than I thought I ever would have. I just want to stitch and find the joy in the ones that I come to when I come to them. I want to do other things with other people at times. I can't say yes to everything. I'm not that daft. I know it appears that I do, but I'm not. So maybe I need to slow down a little bit on the new stitch alongs. I want to keep supporting Historical Sampler Company because I believe in their company. I love their company, and I want to keep supporting them with their stitch alongs. So that is a commitment, and I want to honour that as they have faith in me to share this their products with you. Then I want to honour that as best I can and maintain that commitment. I want to stitch for friends. I want to be able to spot a gift opportunity and do that rather than say, oh, I've already got too much on the go, you know. So all of those things don't lend themselves to breaking down that huge whip that huge whip number, and I am going to have to learn to let go of my desire to get that number down in a hurry is really what I'm trying to say. So anyway, here we are. So for the rest of May, I haven't yet touched my Whip Go called pieces for May. Those are light. I know I showed you light, but I did that in April. So in May, I haven't touched light. So maybe the couple of nights that I give to that will help push me closer to the finish on it. And then the other number that was called brought up Gilmoreisms on my board. So Gilmoreisms is a SAL that I started just before my 50 starts, like literally, like on the 31st of December, nonsensically. But anyway, I got a certain distance and didn't get any further, so we'll pick that up for Whip Go. I have the 4 Seasons Spring Lady that I need to make some progress on. I will continue with the daily thread. I think we have a visitor. You gonna come and say hello to everybody?
Yeah.
Are you? You wanna come sit on this chair?
Okay. Hello. Hello.
You need to sit up a bit higher.
Oh.
Can you sit on your knees?
Oh yeah, okay. I want to. Hello.
Hi everybody. We haven't seen Charlotte for a while, sure we haven't?
Yeah.
Yeah, where were you today?
At
At the park?
yes.
And what else did you do?
Ice cream and scones.
Ice cream and scones?
Yes.
You did what? You did what?
I am scones.
Scones? All right, okay. Okay. So as well as the Spring Lady, I'm going to work on the Bee Queen and gathering honey for my daily threads, and yeah, whatever else I can fit in. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Get Connected. I already mentioned to you the stitch along for Shack on the Shore. So that is the new Flossabilities pattern, and the stitch along is being hosted by Laura from Stitching by the Shore and Karen of the Stitching Oil, and they're planning a start on the first day of summer. So catch up with their channels and connect with them if you would like to stitch along with that. I also mentioned Andrew's Marathon Challenge, the Whip Into Shape Challenge. Check out his episode 45 for all the details on that. And then the other way that you can connect is to connect with some new floss tubers, and I have 3 lovely new floss tubers to share with you. I realize this video is getting quite long, so I'm not going to go on too much at length about them. But the first that I came across in the couple of weeks I've been away is Maja, and she is the designer behind the Snowflower Diaries. I don't know if you've come across the Snowflower Diaries charts. She sometimes designs for Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. She has some beautiful freebies, so that's worth a look as well at her web page for the freebies. And she's a designer from Hungary, and she has beautiful, beautiful designs. And it was lovely to see her pop up for her first Flosstube episode. I heartily recommend that you go and have a watch, and if for no other reason than she has a gorgeous new strawberry chart out. So it's worth it for that alone, but it's worth it for lots of other things too, just to see someone else coming to it from another perspective, you know, another country, as a designer, all the things. Go and check out Maja, she was lovely. Then I also watched Nightingale Stitches, sorry, I didn't say that very well. I'll run it across the screen because it's not easy for me to say. Nightingale. So Victoria Knights, her surname is Knights, so she's Nightingale Stitching. She has a lovely new channel. As far as I know, she has 2 episodes out already. And she works in Hobby House in the US, and she does beautiful stitching. She has an amazing version of She Leger on the go, among other things, and she was just a lovely watch. So I look forward to seeing more from Victoria, and suggest that you go over and say hi to her on her channel. And then we have a lovely new Scottish not cross stitcher, but a floss tuber, and she is Pam at Ditsy Daisy Crafts. So I will link everybody below so that you can find them easily. Pam starts her episode with a finish parade, and she shows so many gorgeous pieces. She has a gorgeous hexy blackwork piece, which I really loved, as well as so many other pieces. She was so easy to listen to, fun to listen to as well. So please go and support Pam and Victoria and Maja on their channels. Say hi, tell them I sent you, so that they know where they're picking up viewers from, and certainly you will enjoy spending some time with them. So the last thing before I go is just to say that on Tuesday, no, anyway, whatever day the 14th of May is, today's the 11th, so Wednesday. On Wednesday the 14th, it will be my 4th year anniversary of Flosstube, and I wanted to do a little giveaway for that. Sorry, I find it very distracting to record with other people in the house. Anyway, now that they're back. So anyway, it's my 4th year of Flosstube, 4th anniversary, and I'm amazed that I've lasted this long. I'm amazed that I have the fellowship and everything that I have through this channel. You know how much I appreciate that. And I had planned a little giveaway to celebrate the 4 years, but unfortunately I haven't received it in the post yet, so I can't show you what the giveaway will be. So I will do that next time, and we will do the 4-year anniversary giveaway then. So it was just to say thank you for listening and supporting and all the things, and making my 4 years so much fun. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I will share the hummingbird humming along pattern with you. So this is an opportunity to get the pattern and all the information that's in the box for the kit. So we've got some kit information, a lovely big pattern. There are actually 2 big pattern pages in here. One is the pattern for stitching, and then the other one is the pattern overlaid with the back stitching. There's very little back stitching in this. It's mostly around the throat and the beak, and a little bit in the tail feathers. There's not a lot of back stitching in this kit, so don't be afraid of it. So there's a lovely pattern that helps with that. And then what I will send is, I'll send you the kit needle because I didn't use it, and I will send you the remaining threads. Now, I don't know what these threads are. I don't know if they're DMC or Anchor or what. There's no numbers on them, and there's probably, well, I would say there's not enough of these threads for you to do the kit with. But you could, if you've got DMCs, you could compare and you could make your own selection very easily, I would say. So I'll send those just so that you have a sample of what the colours should be. I will, depending on where it's going to, I won't keep it in the box because it makes the postage considerably more expensive. If I have to unbox it, then I will trim the picture out for you so that you have it kind of together. So it's, you know, it's a little bit make do and mend, but if you liked the hummingbird, it's a way of getting a hold of the pattern. So if you would like to be in with a chance to have the hummingbird pattern, just use the word hummingbird in your comment down below. Please be 18 so that I can ask for your mailing address. Please be a subscriber and support the channel that way. And I'm happy to send it internationally. As I say, I'll just try and flat pack it better rather than in that box. It is really just a chart that I'm sharing, but I'm sending you the threads so that you can compare and pull your own thread selection for it. Yeah, so that's everything for today. I hope that I will be back with you on my regular 2 weekly time slots now, and I hope that you've got lots of lovely stitches to keep you busy in the meantime. So until then, please stay well and stitch happy. I'll see you soon. Bye.